So this is going to be a bit of a ranty video. It's going to go all over the place. I'm going to talk about my trip to Brazil, my recent trip, and about the Magic the Gathering stores that I saw when I was there. So if you do enjoy these type of videos, it's going to be very ADHD all over the place, then hit that like button. And, well, with that being said, let's get into it. So it was about 6 years since my last time on a plane, and that was to England, and that was in 2016. Very different flight. The flight to Brazil is about 10 hours, and the flight to England was about 7 hours, and you get a 2-hour time difference in Brazil, where we were staying along the coast from Sao Paulo all the way down to Porto Alegre, and in England, it was like a 6-hour time difference, 6 or 7 hours, I believe. So that was different. So a lot less jet lag, which is nice, so I could enjoy my vacation a little more, versus England had a lot more jet lag, which is a bit of a drag on the trip. But first thing we noticed when we got into Brazil was the heat. Now, they had the AC on, but it felt like there was no AC at all because I was like hot, really hot as soon as we got out of the plane. And like, good thing that I actually got out of my, I dressed for the plane, which was nice, because when you're leaving in the wintertime, you know, you're going to usually have like a big jacket on, like maybe jeans, boots, everything else like that, keeping yourself nice and warm from the cold. We got to drive to the airport, so I wasn't really out in the cold for too long, so I had like very light pants on and basically just a sweater, which even the sweater might have been too much. Maybe I should have just had like a jacket I could throw off with a t-shirt. That probably would have been better, actually. But nonetheless, I think I did the most preparing that I felt was necessary. And overall, it was about a 40-minute drive to where we were staying in Sao Paulo, which was my wife's aunt's place. And it was very nice, beautiful condo, massive condo in the middle of the city. And we were very delighted to have our own room in a beautiful condo, and we were taking Ubers everywhere, every night, every day. We take like 2 or 3 Ubers to get to and from places to eat or drink, and also to go to Magic the Gathering stores, which we went to 2 in Sao Paulo. And I was surprised. None of the stores were really busy, though. I will say that when we went, there was no events being played while we were there. If there were, I would have been tempted to actually join in on a draft or something. But there was no real customers, not too many customers at all at the stores. But the shopkeepers were all very, very friendly, and they all spoke pretty good English, which was, I guess that was a bit of a surprise to me, but I was very delighted that they could speak English so I could communicate a bit. And they found my YouTube channel. I showed them my YouTube channel, and it kind of added to a little bit of the connection, I guess, between me and the shopkeepers when I went to Brazil. So that was really fun, and it's something I actually want to start doing more of. Now I actually want to do like a local game store tour here in my city in Toronto. And then every time I do traveling at all, even if it's just to another place in Canada, I want to do a bit of a tour, show people around. Here's some LGSs you guys can shop at if you like Magic the Gathering if you're in this city. And I think that's a good idea. Let me know in the comment section if you actually would be into that. It's something I'm probably going to do regardless, but I'd like to know your thoughts on that down below. Now, apart from the LGSs, some things that I did realize was how cheap things were. Like, alcohol was so cheap, especially if you went to a grocery store. Unbelievable. So we bought 12 beers because I wanted to give some beers to my brothers and some friends when I came back, and we could have a few beers and talk about the different beers that I actually brought from Brazil. Alcohol prices were very cheap in Brazil. Now, we bought 12 beers on the second last day before we went on our plane ride back to Toronto, and the 12 beers we bought at the grocery store was 45 reais. Now, if you want to calculate what that would be in Canadian, just divide it by 4. So you're looking at about $11.50 or $12 for 12 cans of beer, which is insane. In Canada, if you live in Canada, especially in Ontario, you know how expensive alcohol is here. The cheapest 12-pack of beer that you can get probably in Toronto, you'd be looking at least $22 to $23 at the beer store. And that's like the cheapest. That's like the really trash beer. And the beer we got was actually pretty decent. So if I were to compare it to maybe a beer in Canada, maybe it would be like Moosehead or Alexander Keith. So a 12-pack of that would probably be closer to $30. So yeah, pretty inexpensive. That was really nice because I was able to actually try a lot of different beers, and I wasn't being as cheap as I would be in Toronto. In Toronto, I'm very, very cheap when it comes to alcohol, going out and stuff. I do like to drink, but going out, the prices are just, you can't really justify having more than 1 or 2 drinks at a restaurant, especially with your meal in Toronto, at least for me. I don't know. It depends on, I guess, how much money you make. For me, I can't justify more than one or two. And food in general was much better. It tasted better, more fresh. The meat, there was something about the meat taste there. I don't know what it was. The meat was just more tender, juicy, and just easier to eat for me. Like sometimes if I get steaks in Toronto, every once in a while I'll come across a few cuts that are just too grizzly and I just can't even, I take a few chews and I just kind of spit out, like, I can't even eat this. I'd be chewing this for like 10 minutes before I can even swallow it. So that's not fun. In Brazil, the meat is amazing. They're actually known well for their meat, especially in the south of Brazil. They do a lot of barbecue, and they make a lot of barbecue. Veronica, my wife's family, they did barbecue almost every other day, so I had a lot of meat, but also had a lot of great vegetables as well. Another thing that's interesting is breakfast in Brazil is very different than in Canada. In Canada, it's like more like bacon and eggs or pancakes. In Brazil, it's like sandwiches. They'll make like ham and cheese on bread with like, there's a plate and everyone just kind of grabs some fruit. That's kind of the breakfast that we had there. We'd have like papaya or like watermelon and mango, and we'd also have like a sandwich on the side. So that was a nice refreshing twist. It almost felt more to me like a lunch that I would have if I went to school, you know, like in like middle school or something. That'd be like a lunch that I would take. So that was definitely different. But overall, it was not just that it was cheap, but it was so relaxing there that I really was dreading going back to Toronto. Like I had this like sinking feeling in my stomach, like just knowing that I was going back to work and how much stress I would be, undergoing from that. And then also I was pretty behind in a lot of videos for this channel, but also for my other channels like Mattcart and Matt's Megabytes, which is my food channel. And I did film a bunch of stuff for that channel in Brazil. And if you actually want to check out my channel, Matt's Megabytes, it is a food channel. I mostly do food tours in Toronto or food videos in Toronto, but this is obviously a travel video, so you will be seeing a Sao Paulo video released tomorrow. That took me a lot of time to edit, but a lot of stress. A lot of stress comes to traveling. Traveling in general, it can be very peaceful, but there's still a lot of stress that goes along with traveling, and I'm sure if you guys travel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyways, that's kind of where I want to leave it. If you want to hear more about the trip, join me on my live stream tomorrow. I'm going to be celebrating my 11,000 subscribers there, and I'm going to be opening up booster packs. Whenever anyone sends a super chat, I'll either open up a booster pack or I'll take a shot of whiskey, and we'll have some fun. There may even be some giveaways as well. So please join in on the fun we're going to have on our live stream tomorrow, approximately at 6:45 p.m. Toronto time. So mark that down if you want to join in on all the action. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little rant, little story video. And if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.